But picture people trekking through 40 kilometers of unfinished roads. Chaos ensues. It's a recipe for disaster. Everyone cursing the system. That's like throwing a lavish party without building a driveway. On the flip side, airports far away from the city do work, but there is always a but in Vietnam. The lessons scream loud. Will anyone use it as an arrival if it means warfare with traffic? And that brings us to the heart of the problem. How to get there without a nervous breakdown. You would think that there would be a stop or an extension to that airport. But no, too far, no links, epic flop. The worst thing you can do with a 95% no return rate is it's not just about visas. It's a full package of frustration. It's like Vietnam shot itself in the foot and limping to the finish line. Vietnam shoots itself in the foot again with its new international airport, Long Thanh, where you will be forced to transit through. Remember that name, Long Thanh, as it fits perfectly well what it will be, because your journey to Vietnam will be a long trip. Vietnam tourism is finally growing and it's expected to welcome 22 million visitors this year, and that's great. But the Vietnam Tourism Board is shoving all international flights from the main airport to the brand new airport next year. That's not even fully built yet, and it sits 2 hours away from the city center on a good day. Is this a genius idea or chaos for travelers and the economy? In today's video, we are going to expose the beautiful mega airport project that is turning Ho Chi Minh City arrivals into nightmares because just the basics, smooth roads and reliable transit are not ready. If you thought the current chaos at the airports were bad, wait till you see what the upgrades that will make things even worse. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see why the 95% dropout rate is not going to fix itself anytime soon without a proper solution. So let's get started. On paper, the new mega airport fixes everything that the current airport cannot. But let me tell you how it happened first. The saga of the Long Thanh Airport started back in 2004 when Vietnam Tourism looked at the Jam Tăng Sinh Nhúc Airport and said, we need a bigger boat. They envisioned a monster airport 40 kilometers away, about 25 miles from the east of Ho Chi Minh City that can handle 100 million passengers by 2050. Putting it in the big leagues with Singapore's Changi and Seoul's Incheon. In 2015, the National Assembly said yes. 3 phases with huge capacities. Phase 1 reaching 25 million by 2026. Phase 2 getting up to 50 million by 2035. And Phase 3 hitting 100 million by the half-century mark. Sounds ambitious, right? They even threw in a $16 billion free trade zone in Dong Nai that can boost GDP by 3 to 5%. Construction kicked off in 2021. By August 2023, runways and terminals were underway. Vietjet even opened up a maintenance center last month. But there is always a but in Vietnam. As Phase 1 hits towards its targets, officials decided to advance a second runway, which caused a delay until 2026. They even had a finish line pep talk, having 14,000 workers hammering over the national holiday in order to speed up things for December 19, 2025, and then having commercial flights by September 2026. That is the latest promise. And yet, with a $14 billion price tag for Phase 1, you would think they got the basics down. Spoiler, they haven't. And that brings us to the heart of the problem. How to get there without a nervous breakdown. My name is Ken Duong, International Business Immigration Attorney, with over 16 years of relocation and investment experience included in Vietnam. I'm going to explain to you how the rules actually work and your future travel plans to Vietnam. Transportation, the Achilles heel that's already hobbling this beast before it walks. Long Thanh Airport is 40 kilometers away from Ho Chi Minh City Center, and it might as well be 400 if the roads resemble a parking lot. Local reports flag delays at the An Phu interchange, linking Mai Chi Tho, Long Thanh Dau Giay Expressway, and the Ben Look Long Thanh Expressway. It should smooth airport access, but construction lags have turned it into a bottleneck bomb. Imagine shelling out billions of dollars for a world-class terminal, only to have passengers circle endlessly in traffic, trying to get to the check-in counter. That's like throwing a lavish party without building a driveway. Officials promise expressways. Widening starts in September 2025 and two-team rail by 2030. Maybe even a high-speed rail. But if these aren't ready by opening, chaos ensues. Take a concrete example. Transfer between terminals at the current Tan Son Nhut Airport is already chaotic. Amplify that. Try landing at the Long Thanh Airport and then fighting your way through traffic in order to get to the current airport for your domestic flights. Missed flights, lost luggage, frayed nerves. Industry experts are saying you should go with the cargo first and then passengers after infrastructure is done. Else, aviation half-baked. Speaking of half-baked plans, let's talk about the relocation options that will make or break this endeavor. Quick pit stop. 80% of you are not subscribed to this channel. That's like building a mega airport without the roads. If you want hard receipts and glossy renderings, hit that subscribe button because you don't want the algorithm to send you to the wrong hub. Now, let's get back to the plan that will make or break this airport. Vietnam's airport authorities, ACV, or Airports Corporation of Vietnam, faces a fork in the road with two very lousy paths ahead. Option number one, moving all international flights, about 90 million passengers per year, to the Long Thanh Airport. Sounds efficient, right? But picture people trekking through 40 kilometers of unfinished roads. Traffic jams that make LA look tame. Taxis overcharging passengers. Why not? And zero public transport options for budget travelers. Or option number two, split operations. Keep 20% at Tan Son Nhut Airport. This may sound like a good compromise, but aviation pros say it's a recipe for disaster. The airlines will rack up a double cost for staff and equipment. Connections will crumble as people try to shuttle between the two airports, and everyone cursing the system. Another option that is not on the table is instead of relocating all the international flights, you relocate all the domestic flights, which is easier to manage. Then once all the infrastructure is in place, then you would relocate the international flights. But that would make too much sense. Ho Chi Minh City has a great new subway system, and we did a video review a few months ago. It's actually pretty good. You would think that there would be a stop or an extension to that airport. But no. Why? Because it would make too much sense. To hammer this home, let's look at the ghosts of aviation's past that Vietnam should look at. History is littered with airport dreams that crashed or soared. Take the Montreal Maribel that was built in the 1970s. It was built as a 50-kilometer mega hub, but forgot the rails. Passengers revolted, airlines fled, and by 2004, flights vanished. Terminal demolished in 2014. Now it's just a sad racetrack and movie set. Sounds familiar, Vietnam? Too far, no links, epic flop. With Long Thanh's December 2025 rush, appears Maribel 2.0 risks. On the flip side, airports far away from the city do work if the transport is fast, frequent, and cheap. Take Seoul's Incheon Airport that opened in 2001 with high-speed rail and highways locked and loaded from day one. Not when your first long-haul tourist arrives and asks, where are the trains? AirX connects the terminal to the Seoul station so that nobody misses their connection because of a dump truck stalled on a flyover. Result, 70 million passengers yearly, consistently topping the world's best list. Istanbul pulled the overnight switch from Ataturk in 2019. Painful at first, but with solid transport, it's handling 76 million smoothly. Denver had years of grumbling until it built a direct train in 2016. Now, the 37-minute A line runs like a metronome, even though it sits 20 plus miles out. The lessons scream loud. Distance works if the transport is fast, cheap, and reliable. Skimping builds regrets, not hubs. Tan Son Nhut bursts at 85 million passengers by 2030. Long Thanh could ease if links deliver, but some local voices are already laughing. Will anyone use it as an arrival if it means warfare with traffic? Now let's translate that lesson into what tourists will feel on day one. All this transportation talk is getting really hot, so let's jump inside. Tourists don't judge Vietnam on budget spreadsheets. They judge Vietnam on the first hour on the ground. Vietnam knows this. and we've covered that 95% problem, whereby most tourists will never return back to Vietnam. That video performed, but the number still stings. The worst thing you can do with a 95% no return rate is to make it even harder and scarier when they arrive. Vietnam hired a private company to do a research that stated that Vietnam had the second highest return rate in Asia. But of course, you cannot independently verify this claim. Picture landing at Long Thanh shiny new terminal and then having to fight 2 hours of traffic through the An Phu interchange and also Highway 51's lunar potholes. Your flights, hotels, and meetings won't wait. Tourist grades baggage to bed, not runways. If the trip feels like an obstacle course, they probably won't book twice. So how will Vietnam avoid this billion-dollar disaster? Here are some solutions. 1. Finish critical access before passenger switch. The An Phu interchange is not optional. It is the neck of the hourglass. Prioritizing unblocking expressway components, set milestone deadlines, tie payments through throughput and milestones. Fix Highway 51's lunar potholes before they fix your suspension. Number 2, set a rail timeline. Thu Thiem Long Thanh not ready? Run shuttles every 5 to 7 minutes. Lane enforcement religiously. Publish fares, timetables, and integrate with the airline. We'll figure it out later is how airports become memes. Number 3, do not split international. Consolidate international flights into Long Thanh Airport after you've locked in secured reliable ground access. Keep all domestic flights at Tan Son Nhut Airport. Build a clean, single hub narrative. Number 4, consider a soft open with cargo and limited long-haul routes, and then ramp up after 90 days of solid roads. Number 5, turn arrivals into a hospitality product. Clear English Vietnamese signs, control taxi pricing, grab and limousine pickup areas that actually function, tourist SIM counters that don't swarm, don't shout, and don't overcharge. Vietnam's smile is a strategic asset. Deploy it. Great. That's the to-do list. But let's talk about the consequences if we do it the old way. If Long Thanh Airport opens up big before the roads and transit arrive, Vietnam risks the worst label in aviation: inconvenient hub. Airlines hate that, passengers hate that, and business travelers hate that. Inconvenient hub means missed connections, extra hotel nights, and U2 brands titled Never Again. You don't win a regional race by handling your rivals' passengers on a platter that says Bangkok or Singapore. If the first global headlines about Long Thanh are about gridlock and not getaways, that scar will last for years and cost millions to heal. But that's enough for detours. Let's get back to why Vietnam's tourism is its worst enemy. At its core, the Long Thanh Airport potential fiasco exposes Vietnam tourism's absurd complacency. They hype natural wonders like the Sapa rice terraces and the Ha Giang Loop, but sabotage it all with chaotic arrivals and scam-ridden streets. Remember that 95% stat? It's not just about visas. It's a full package of frustrations that are turning visitors away. Long Thanh Airport could flip the script, anchoring economic growth and luring back the elusive 50% of returnees, just like Thailand. But rushing without infrastructure, it's like Vietnam shot itself in the foot and limping to the finish line. Locals and expats rant online. Put customers first. If we love Vietnam, and we do, then we need to call it out unapologetically. Push for finished roads before the airports open, scrap the split hub nonsense, and start with cargo to iron out the kinks. Because other countries are racing ahead. Thailand's seamless airports, Singapore's efficiency. Vietnam deserves better, but the silence lets the absurdity fester. We are here to provide practical solutions to make Vietnam win. Because our goal is to create jobs for Vietnamese families and make Vietnam prosperous. So let the butt-hurt Vietnamese keyboard warriors know that. So what's the verdict? Long Thanh can rewrite Vietnam's story as the aviation powerhouse, or can become Asia's next ghost terminal. The fix is straightforward. Complete transport links first, unify operations, and scale smartly. Draw from Seoul's wins, avoid Maribel's pitfalls. Vietnam has culture, scenery, and potential. So don't squander it away on half measures. So what do you think? Will Long Thanh soar or crash? Leave your comments below, or say I like it to get more exposures, and you can also suggest topics. So if you're considering a move to Vietnam for retirement or business, email us for a tailored plan. We have playlists on visa rants and scam bust, so check on the description below. So on behalf of Duong Global, my name is Ken Duong. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.